I am consistently left amazed by what indie developers can create, fueled by what can only be passion and probably the hope of delivering a memorable experience to like minded players. Some of my favorite video games come from small teams. That said, Chinese developers seem to be in a league of their own in terms of taking the foundations of genres and elevating them through evolved systems and means of storytelling. From early looks at the Sense games developed Limit, there are clear inspirations to games like Code Vein and other Souls-like titles, but one can only hope that its characterization, world building, and combat systems allow it to stand out. I was able to play through an early demo of Limit to get an idea of these combat nuances, and while the story wasn't a central figure in this preview, I will say this team has a star heroine here that shouldn't be wasted. But only time will tell what will come of that. For now, let's get into the combat. The Limit demo was mainly combat focused. Without much of a backstory, I was left to make my way through ruins fighting any enemies that came my way. There was a slow rollout of combat systems that revealed themselves over time. Initially, you don't have access to a parry or a short-ranged weapon, which I appreciated as it allowed me to get used to the basic combat before introducing new systems. Anyway, Sewer Town is the dungeon, and the demo became a sort of combat tutorial for the most part as I made my way through the debris and fought against whatever was thrown at me. Surprisingly, the demo features a massive slice of the dungeon to explore. What's more interesting is how some areas were locked off, encouraging me to return when the full game is out. The ambitious level design encourages exploration, often leading to challenging encounters or unique items. Fast travel can be accessed through the link trees, which act as a respawn hub and place to upgrade your stats. Although some of the grunt enemies look similar, they do have different attack patterns that give them variety. The more challenging enemy encounters can also be pretty brutal, but like all Souls-like games, the more you play, the better you get. Okay, so let's get into the combat. Basic attacks are tied to R1 with special attacks tied to R2, with an option to charge when you hold the button down. I know, this is all pretty basic. However, you'll quickly notice the sync gauge under your character's HP. Sync rate is the quantity of mud energy that's available to you, and depending on how full it is, determines a blader's prowess in battle. When it's low, attacks are weakened, medium, attacks are standard, and high, attacks are enhanced. Hitting enemies with basic attacks increases sync rate, but taking damage lowers it. Once depleted, you do enter a weakened state. I should highlight that this game doesn't have a stamina gauge, favoring a more aggressive approach to combat. Weaker enemies can be staggered, and parry and dodge windows are fairly gracious. What I'm trying to say is that this game is difficult, but it also is reasonably approachable for those new to the genre. There's also weapon variety that alters your basic attack speed and power depending on which weapons you choose. There are 2 loadouts available, which can be switched with a button press, along with customizable gear that alters your on-screen threads. In the demo, the unlockable costumes were pretty impressive, and the developer assured me in a recent interview that there's more to be found. Limit is holding its narrative and characters close, but from a combat perspective, this game has a fighting chance of excelling in the genre. The anime-esque character and enemy designs show off some truly standout visuals in this genre, but more importantly, I feel like these graphics won't age with time, at least not anytime soon. I'm left impressed with what's here, and I'm definitely looking forward to the lore and world building that will keep me coming back for more. If you haven't already, be sure to add Limit to your wishlist. Limit is in development for PlayStation 5 and PC for a 2024 release. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixels run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.